half angle formula example. So this one looks like just a little bit of work. You can just use, you can do it like in a couple minutes, but it's a lot of work, especially you have to work with fractions. So the first one is sine of 22.5 degree. We are trying to use a half angle formula. That means for the angle measurement, we have to see a divided by 2 in it. So we need a denominator 2. So how do we make the angle divided by 2 appears? So this is how we do it. I will do an unknown quantity divided by 2 equals to 22.5 degree, and then you solve for x, so x is equals to 45 degree. So this one is the same thing as sine of 45 degree divided by 2. So 45 degree, that is sine of pi over 4 divided by 2. Do not simplify the pi over 4 and the 2. So half angle formula for sine, so that is equals to 1 minus cosine, right? Pi over 4 divided by 2, and then this one we are using a plus because 22.5, this is in quadrant 1. Both x and y are positive, so that's why we are using a plus. And then a pi over 4, the coordinate is √2 divided by 2, and then you have cosine of pi over 4, so that is equals to √2 over 2, right? So that is 1 minus √2 over 2 divided by 2. Well, you want to take that as a final answer, right? But in most of the textbook, you have to just work all the way to the end. I wish I can take that as a final answer. So this is 2 minus √2 divided by the 2 in here. I know there's a lot of 2. And then the 2 fractions, so that is a 2 minus √2 divided by 4. The square root of 4 is a 2, so on top you have a 2 minus √2. So that is your final answer. Always box your final answer, all right? So the next one is a tangent. So next one is we have a tangent 7 pi over 8. Again, I have to make the divided by 2 appears. So x divided by 2 equals to 7 pi divided by 8. Multiply both sides by 2. You have 7 pi divided by what? Divided by 4, right? And then what quadrant is that? Do you still remember how to convert an angle measurement from radian to a degree? So in degree, there is no pi, right? So we have 7 pi over 4 times 180 divided by pi. So that is your how to convert from an angle measurement from radian to degree. And then you have 7 times 180 divided by 4. That is 157.5. That is in quadrant 2. So x is negative, y is positive. So for the tangent, we don't have to do that yet. So let's rewrite the half angle. So we have a tangent of 7 pi over 4 divided by 2. Okay, so look at your formula. Should we use the plus or minus? The answer is we have to use the minus. So let me show you why really quick. So you have tangent equals to sine divided by cosine, right? So that is equals to plus divided by a minus, which is a minus, right? Positive y, negative x, so you have a minus. So this minus will carry over here, a big minus. So you have the square root of 1 minus cosine 7 pi over 4 divided by 1 plus cosine 7 pi over 4. And then you just evaluate 7 pi over 4. So 7 pi over 4, you have to look at your unit circle, right? 7 pi over 4. So 7 pi over 4, the coordinate is √2 over 2, comma, negative √2 over 2. This is in quadrant 4, this angle measurement. So cosine, we take the x coordinate. And then you plug in. So that is negative 1 minus √2 over 2, 1 minus √2 over 2. This one, to make your life easier, what you can do is you can go ahead and then multiply the whole thing by 2 over 2. So once you multiply the 2 over 2, you can get rid of the denominators. So that is 2 minus root 2 divided by 2 plus, right? Plus root 2. Oh, by the way, how come the first number is a 2? Because you are trying to distribute the 2 to top and bottom. So now we are out of a complex fraction. We are not dealing with complex fraction anymore. And then this one we do what is that called? That is called a conjugate, right? So the conjugate is 2 plus root 2. Actually, it's not a plus, it's a minus. It's a minus root 2 because this is a plus. So conjugate, we always take the opposite sign. Always take the opposite sign of what? Of the denominator. And then you do the math. So you have negative 2 minus root 2 square. We don't need to open that up. The denominator gives you a 2. Not done. The job is not done. So we have a negative the square root of 2 minus root 2 square. I know they got cancelled. And then root 2. So the top is 2 minus root 2. The bottom is root 2. What do? You have to rationalize. And then you have negative 2 root 2, right? Minus 2 divided by 2. Okay, simplify the 2. What do you have? You have negative root 2 minus 1. I mean, all right, minus 1. If you do that, minus 1. And then you open that up, so negative root 2 plus 1. So that is your final answer. See, a lot of work for one little problem. Let's switch color for number 3. Okay, number 3, you have cosine 165 degree. Let's get the half angle out because the problem is asking you to use half angle, right? So that is equals to 165. Multiply both sides by 2, so x is equals to 330 degree. The 165 so the 165 degree is in quadrant 2, so we have a negative x and a positive y. And then the cosine half theta, so x is negative, so that is going to carry over to the sine. So this will be a negative because negative x will be carried over right here. Not that one. Will be the negative x is going to carry over here. And then you have a 1 plus cosine 330 degree divided by 2. 330 degree, look at your unit circle, it is there. So 330 degree is 11 pi over 6. So at that point, we have root 3 over 2, negative 1/2. And then the cosine 11 pi over 6, we take the x coordinate, root 3 over 2. So this is a negative 1 plus root 3 over 2 divided by 2. And then you get a common denominator. And then this 2 and that 2 becomes a 4, right? So you have a negative 2 minus 3 root 2 over 4. So take the square root in the denominator. You have negative, the square root of 4 is 2. So this you have 2 minus 3 root 2. That is your answer. In case you don't remember the properties of the radical, so if you have a square root of a divided by b, that equals to square root of a divided by square root of b. If you have a square root of a times square root of b, then you have the square root of a times b, as long as they are both wrapped by a square root. Next, we have, what color should we use? Let's use white. The next one is number 4. We have a secant of 15 pi divided by 8. I don't want to work with a secant because we don't have a half angle formula for the secant, so I'm going to put that as 1 divided by cosine. 15 pi divided by 8. 15 pi divided by 8 times 180 over pi. I'm trying to convert this angle measurement from radian to degree. That is 337.5. That is in quadrant 4. So at quadrant 4, we have a positive x and a negative y. And then cosine actually let's write the formula first. So we have cosine 15 pi over 5. We haven't find the half angle yet. Okay, let's do it now. We have unknown divided by 2 equals to 15 pi divided by 8, because I'm wondering where is the half angle. And then you multiply both sides by 2, so x is equals to 15 pi, 8 and a 2, you get a 4. So this will be 15 pi divided by 4 over 2. So that means you have to deal with the 15 pi over 4, because 1 divided by this is a plus, right? X is positive. You have 1 plus cosine 15 pi over 4 divided by 2. So cosine 15 pi over 4, that is 1. Look at your unit circle. Cosine 15 pi over 4. So okay, did you get that? So that is root 2 over 2. So this one is root 2 over 2. You have to simplify, right? So that is 1 divided by 2 plus root 2, the whole thing over 2, and then you have divided by 2, and then you have 1 divided by 2 plus root 2 over 4. Okay, so this square root of 4 is equals to 2, and then you can flip the 2 back to the top. So you have a 2 divided by 2 plus root 2. Again, what is not acceptable? A square root in the denominator. How do you get rid of this? You have to multiply the top and bottom by the square root term. So 2 plus root 2, and then 2 plus root 2. What is that equal to? The top you have forgot a square root, right? Because that is a 1, right? Any fraction multiplied by 1 equals to itself, so you have 2 times the yellow term. And then the denominator, you get rid of the square root instantly. So plus 2 root 2. Is this acceptable? Still no, because we have a root 2 in the denominator. So this time we do a conjugate. And then, let's see, the bottom you have a 4 minus 2, which equals to 2. The top, let's don't bother to simplify the top. So 2 times 2 plus root 2 times 2 minus root 2. This is 1 factor, and then you get rid of the 2, right? So that is equals to 2 plus root 2 times 2 minus root 2. So that is your final answer. So that will be all in this problem. A lot of work. You have to deal with so many radicals, so be very careful. Again, no radical, no square root in the denominator. You have to use a conjugate to deal with this situation. What is conjugate? The conjugate is you take the opposite sign of the denominator. All right, I don't care the numerator. I care the denominator. All right, in the next video, I will show you one more example using both double angle and half angle formula. I see you there.